All right. Welcome, everybody. Uh, Welcome to the character design class. My name is Pablo Smith. I am an animation director at Nickelodeon Animation Studios. Um, if you guys, I think the way it's been going with the other classes, if you guys have any questions, feel free to just drop them in the chat box. If for any reason I am missing a question, just unmute and let me know that there's a question as we're drawing. I hope you guys have paper and pens and pencils because I'd like to draw along with you guys. So let me just tell you a little bit about myself. I saw. Oh, we already have a question. Okay, let me see. I started when I was in high school. I saw a movie, The Little Mermaid, and I was like blown away by the way they were able to tell the story with drawings and animation and how it was able to like actually be exciting and also like funny and stuff like that. So I wrote a letter to Disney, Disney Animation Studios. Back then, I had to write an actual letter and send it in the mail, and they gave me back. They sent me back a 4-page reply on what you have to do to become an animator, and I think a lot of it applies to character design. Um, so I'm going to share some of these rules with you, but first, let me answer this question. What is it like working at Nick? Uh, it's really fun. So I work with the SpongeBob crew. I'm animation director on Camp Coral, which is like a SpongeBob universe spin-off show. Um, but I work with a lot of the original, cast and writers and stuff, and it's just really fun to be around people that their whole job is to make people laugh and just be creative and try to be silly and dumb sometimes. So it's just a fun, I sit down and I draw most of the day, and it's just kind of therapeutic. So it's really fun. Um, let me so let me give you a couple of the rules that I was sent by Disney. The two of them I'm going to tell you at the same time. Number one was when you're starting out, don't draw cartoons. Um, and the second one is always carry a sketchbook. And I'm going to give you those two rules at the same time. Like wherever you go, always have a sketchbook with you, even if it's just like a notebook, like a lined notebook. Um, and the reason why you don't want to draw cartoons is because, um, well, if you learn the human anatomy or animal anatomy, you learn how the face works, how the body works. It's easier to design new characters, new stuff. If you like SpongeBob or Mickey Mouse, or if you're only into anime, uh, which it's all fine, right? But if that's all you draw, then it's going to be much harder unless you're getting unless the only job available is the job you're looking for. It's going to be really hard to break into the industry um, and eventually get to where you want to be. I think it's pretty rare to get out of school and you want this job and you get that job and then that's what you do for the rest of your life. Um, so it's good to just learn the basics of how to draw and how to draw realistically, and then from that realistic drawing you can then simplify it or turn it into cartoons to design the characters that you would like to draw. So I'm going to show you here just what I'm talking about by carry a sketchbook everywhere. These are just some of my sketches. I just took pictures of them with my phone and put them onto the computer. So just as I go everywhere, part of the character design, right? Like, if all you know is cartoons, then you're just kind of redrawing stuff that's already been out there. But if you like draw from real life, like if you take your sketchbook and you look around at the people, like there's so many different types of faces, so many different things that you can do here that Here you go. Just like if you so I'll take a sketchbook, I'll take a notebook with me, and then a pen or a pencil, usually a pen, because I use a pen because that way I don't feel like I have to like spend time erasing. I just kind of want to quickly get what I see, draw what I'm seeing, um, and then just it doesn't always have to be exactly what I'm seeing. Sometimes I'll start with what I'm the person that's there, and then I'll like just embellish it, or from there I'll kind of design out if I have like a different idea. So if you're at the zoo, uh, then you here we go. How do you think of those different faces? Well, so these are people that I see on the train if I'm commuting, or if I'm at church, or if I'm at if I go to the mall. Sometimes I'll just sit there and with a sketchbook and I'll just watch people. Um, if I go to the zoo, I'll draw the animals here, um, and then eventually you can take from real life and turn it more into uh, uh, a character design, right? So it doesn't have to be the same characters you watch on TV, right? The studios want to see you like they want to see you, like your original drawings, your ideas, the stuff that you can bring that's new to them. They don't want to if it's SpongeBob and all you have is SpongeBob, they're like, okay, well, we have SpongeBob, but we're looking for new stuff. So a lot of these things, so at at the zoo drawing horses and then just kind of break off into like a little cartoon character. But it should always start from real life. This is a person um, that I was just looking at. I don't show the people necessarily when I'm drawing them. I don't show them what I'm drawing. But yeah, if I'm on the train, I'm on the bus, I'm at work, I'm at lunch, I just whip out my sketchbook and then I just start drawing. Um, I'll try to capture their likenesses. Um, and I mean, look at all the different shapes, all the different types of faces uh, that you have here. Um, I have a question here. What did you work on? So I worked on, let's see, my very first show was a show called The Wonder Pets from like way back a long time ago. I worked on Ninja Turtles, Legend of Korra, Fairly Odd Parents, uh, Hey Arnold, Tough Puppy. I've worked on Kung Fu Panda, Secrets of the Masters, uh, just a bunch of, and then like a bunch of little commercials and stuff here and there. So yeah, just a bunch of different things. Um, Again, here just clicking through. One of the things that they'll tell you, one of the other rules is when you're drawing a character, uh, you want to draw them with an emotion. Like you don't want to just like draw like a deadpan flat human or animal, right? Like uh, you want to kind of tell what they're thinking, even if it's just like in the body language. You don't want to have to like write underneath this person is sad or this person is happy, right? Like just from the drawing itself, you kind of want to be able to tell what they're thinking and feeling. And again, these are cartoons, but uh, drawing from real life references again. So obviously, there's no real satyrs, right? I was just drawing stuff and then kind of started sketching here. But um, again, uh, if you're going into character design, if you know how like the actual human anatomy, animal anatomy works, you could usually take it into a bunch of different styles, right? It's not just anime or just Disney or just SpongeBob. Um, you want to learn all the like different styles and have that include that as part of your portfolio. All right, here, let me just click through again here, a few of them. These are just, again, sketches in the sketchbook. Some are a little more rendered than other. This is when I went to the mall. Sometimes I'll just go to the mall by myself, sit down, sketchbook, and drawing. Um, hold on, guys. Okay, and then here again, just creepy clown-like things. But again, all these ideas come from real people, and you look around, and real people just have different faces, different things that make them look different, right? So you kind of want to just look at these. This is actually from a Zoom meeting with one of the people that I work with. During the Zoom meetings, when other people are talking, it could get a little boring when it's not like, when I'm not doing I'm not talking about what I'm doing in the meeting. So on Zoom, if the person's talking, I'll just sketch out the person and then, add a few drawings and stuff around them. Is there anything you recommend us practicing to improve? Yeah. So, um, you know, I know it's, it sounds like maybe your teachers have already told you this a bunch of times, but uh, you know, the number one rule is draw what you see, right? Don't think that you know something so well that you don't need to look at it, right? And then the second one is just learn to draw everything. Don't pigeonhole yourself into one style or one character. Like really like go out there and go to the zoo, go to the mall, find different people. One of the other things they said was take acting classes, right? Because you're going to be designing for movies and television, right? Or even if it's like comic books or whatever. But basically, like you guys are going into the entertainment business, right? So learning how to act, learning like what makes a character like, it'll kind of help you, like how do you get into a certain type of character, and all that stuff will help you with your drawing, because it's not just the technical part, it's very much the mental part of like you're putting it into the drawing, right? The types of characters. I think this is the last one. So what do you think is the most difficult thing to draw for you personally? um let's see. Well, if we're talking about anything, it's buildings and environments. I hate those things. Uh, for me, personal, like people and animals, I just get it. But buildings and 1 point perspective, 2 point, 3 points, all that stuff. Like sometimes I get a little like so um that is, and I do need to like, focus on that a little bit more. But yeah, that's kind of what I find personally. All right, let's see here. Some other questions. Oh, thank you for saying I'm a wonderful artist. When can you start breaking from realism to making cartoons? I think I think you can do that just as you go. I wouldn't focus on. Somebody is unmuted here. Um, I wouldn't I wouldn't focus on just cartoons. I mean, I think you can draw cartoons whenever you want, right? But as you like you study and you practice the realism, and both of those things, I feel like you're constantly practicing at the same time. You wouldn't just focus on realistic unless you want to go into portraits and stuff like that, figure drawing. But as you learn the realistic stuff, like the cartoon things open up and make sense. So I think they just go side by side. Um, all right, it says here hands. Yes, hands are very hard. What program are you using? So the program that you guys see on screen right here, this is Photoshop. Um, and but you know, I'll use this to do digital drawings, right? But when I when I'm not when I'm not at the computer, I will use just a sketchbook and a pen. So uh, any kind of paper and any kind of drawing tool, just to kind of. Sometimes I'll wake up in the middle of the night with like an idea. So I know this might sound stupid, but I keep a sketchbook next to my bed. And then like I'll just like sketch it out real quick and then I can go back to sleep. It says here, do you use Adobe Animate to animate? No, I don't. Not at the moment. I use well a bunch of different programs, but some of them are like Toon Boom, Harmony, Maya for computer animation. But I do know I've never used it, but I know Adobe does have Adobe Animate. Um, all right, for drawing anatomy, which artist book would recommend? Would you recommend Bern Hogarth or Jack Ham or other? Uh, I do. Yeah, Dynamic Anatomy by Bern Hogarth. That's the one that that I studied from. I mean, I also went to art school and learned, did figure drawing there and had different teachers. But that book is the one. Wow, I'm getting a lot of questions here. Okay, okay. What is the glove on my hand, and what is its purpose? So let's see. The glove on my hand, it's for when I'm drawing at the computer. Um, if I'm drawing and it keeps the hand from like touching because it's a touch screen, right? So if I'm going to be moving this around and drawing on it, I don't want it touching without, and plus my hand will sometimes get a little sweaty because it's on the screen all the time. So it just kind of keeps it clean and smooth. Um, do I prefer traditional or digital? Um, I prefer whatever is yeah. All right, guys. I prefer both. I like both. It doesn't to me it doesn't really matter. As long as I get to draw, it's fine. Um all right. Let's see. Let's do a bit of sketching here real quick. I hope you guys have paper and pencils or pens. Um, so I work on SpongeBob at the moment. So we're gonna do SpongeBob for now. I'm gonna kind of go through what the rules are of SpongeBob. And this is hey guys, Dominic, if you could keep the applause down, please, so we could. It's a little distracting. Um, I'm gonna give you some of the rules, and it's really important, guys, as you're designing characters for animation, to know what kind of characters, what type of animation you're designing for. If it's traditional hand drawn animation that's going to be like drawn by hand every single frame, you don't want to put a lot of detail into that character because that person will then have to the animators will then have to draw that detail every single frame. So I'm going to go through here, and if you guys want to follow along, I will give you with oil panels. I have, but not as an animator in a studio. Guys, let me walk you through SpongeBob here real quick, and then I'll answer some more questions. And this will be like an important part of this. And guys, just so you know, I'm gonna decline all of the side conversations so I could focus on the room here, the main group. So SpongeBob looks a certain way, right? Just like each one of you guys do. So when you look at a person, when you go to school, you never get confused as to who your friend is, right? Because you already know what they look like. You'll know if something's a little off, right? If someone tries to fake it. These are like the same rules why the difference between like actual SpongeBob versus like a knockoff SpongeBob that you could like that you buy downtown or something. So some of the rules, I think it's important to, as you're drawing and designing characters, right, you come up with rules for how to design them because you're going to be passing your character off to animators, right? And then the animators, if there's 60 different animators, there's a good chance there's going to be 60 different versions of your character, right? So if you, as you're designing the character, as you're thinking of the character, you start to think of like, hey, what's the why what is it that's making me want to draw it in this way or that way, right? So for SpongeBob, you start off with a square, right? You divide the square right down the middle. This is just like the front on view, right? But you divide the square right down the middle, going down, and then you divide it the middle going across. Um, you will then we then add two circles here, right? And this is just a sketch, right? So obviously that's not exactly the middle. Let me erase some of this here. You want to keep it light while you're sketching, but I'm on a computer, so it's it's not as bad. So the eyes touch both center lines, right? Like two circles, and then right in between the eyes at the bottom, that's where, if he's facing straight at camera, that's where you will draw his nose, right? So if you guys are following along, you get the eyes down on the center lines, then you draw the nose. Then he's got two cheeks on the sides, right? When he smiles, he pushes up. So SpongeBob can get his cheeks up pretty high. They're just like ovals that we'll draw here, and you don't close off the bottom of the oval here. Just kind of leave it open. And then so one of the rules of SpongeBob, right, is that his upper lip stays up really close to his nose and his eyes. So I mean, sometimes if he goes crazy, right, you can have like a lip down there, right? But usually we try to keep it like as close as we can without going, without touching the eyes or the nose here. And then his lower lip, well, you can make it, however you want. We'll just do like a nice little U shape here. Um, his teeth, his two front buck teeth, they're just squares. And you can just do like one on each side of the line here. Okay, and then we usually show his tongue. And so for his tongue, it's just like two little lumps right there. His pupils. So some characters just have like solid black pupils, right? But SpongeBob has a pupil and an iris and then a highlight. We don't have to draw all of those today, but to make him look like SpongeBob, want to give him at least a pupil and an iris. Right, and then if he like, here, let me see here. So he also has the three eyelashes on top of each eye here. So the rule is the one goes straight on top, right, directly on top, right, and then the other ones point off in like the diagonal direction, right? So again, one at the top, two go at a diagonal direction. He has three freckles on each cheek. Two at the bottom, one at the top, or maybe it's at the top, one at the bottom. And again, these are all like the little rules that you'll want everyone that will be animating your character to know. So as you're designing a character, it's always good, to do like the turnarounds and write out the rules for the design so that everyone is drawing the same character. We're gonna, so he said they call him square pants, right? He's not really a square. He kind of tapers his body tapers in a little bit. So we're gonna bring his body, the sides of his body in, um, and cut off that little part at the bottom here. We'll give him a little line for a lower lip. Um, and then if you want, if it helps to like free you from distractions, you can like get rid of those construction lines there. Um, all right, so you kind of have. Here, I'll give you another rule, guys. SpongeBob's the tops of his eyes here are always parallel with the top of his head, right? So if he's turning or if he's bending, whatever he's doing, one way to always keep it looking like SpongeBob is to make sure the tops of his eyes are always parallel with the top of his head. If his eyes ever go like this and his head ever goes like that, that's when you can tell like it's not on model, right? Um, so we're gonna give him. We're gonna draw the lines for his shirt, right? Just right under his lip there. Um, you know what? I'm just gonna extend it a little bit, uh, so it's not so thin. But I'm gonna erase some of this. For his shirt collar, well, let's see. We draw a line for his shirt that divides the shirt and the shorts, right? And then for his shirt collar, touching them from the middle line that divides down the middle, we're basically drawing a W, right? Like two V's, one on each side of the middle line. Um, his tie will be a V shape coming down uh, from the midsection of the collar down to the point, touching on the middle line, and then his tie will just come down from there. Right? He's got his belt loops. He doesn't have we don't see actual belt loops, right? So we're gonna do it's just three. I mean, here we can do the middle line here. This is like the middle line for his belt. Then he's got one more on each side. This is pretty rough, guys. So we can go back and clean it up later if we want to. Um, that's his body, his core body, roughly, right? We still need like the wavy sponge lines around the sides and the holes on his face. Um, we're gonna give him his legs here. So we'll do, since it's straight on, it's a triangle. Triangle. It's a rectangle. So just two rectangles, one on each side. Right. Now, usually the rules for his sleeves and his pant legs, right? They're kind of like I'm just on the side here. They're kind of like a bell shape, right? You draw a bell shape and then like a little line in the middle, and that's where if these are his sleeves, then his arms come out of there. If these are his pant legs, we never see the top of his pant legs, right? They're always just inside the pants. So we kind of treat the ends the same, but we don't ever want to like they never connect like other characters in other shows, right? So for his legs, just two straight lines for one leg, two straight lines for another leg here, and then his shoes. So he's got pretty small feet, right? He's kind of like a little dainty, wimpy kid, right? So he's got what we usually do is like just draw like a little circle and then like a little tear shape, like kind of like on the side, and then another little circle here, and then you can just kind of connect them and do the flat lines on the bottom to where the sole of the shoe would be. Again, just a circle, connect them on the bottom. All right, he's got, this one looks like it's a little bit off here. It's a little, be a little further down so it doesn't, it's about the same size. So here we go. Bring this down. All right, so now he's got 2 even legs. He's got a sock with 3 lines on each leg. Right. Okay, and then we'll move up to his arms. So let me get rid of this here. So SpongeBob's got arms, like the sleeves, they just kind of travel up and down the sides of his bodies. They're not like really attached to the shirt, right? And usually we kind of keep him close to the shirt if he's just doing normal stuff, right? So the sleeves, you do see the top, the bell shape top part here, and then again that little line here, and we can just draw 2 straight lines coming out, right, for his hands. Okay, and for his hands, they're SpongeBob hands. So this is, guys, I thought when I joined the show, because I draw a lot and I'd worked at Nickelodeon, I thought I knew how to draw SpongeBob. When I got on the show and they gave me like all these hundreds of rules, it went from kind of looking like SpongeBob to, oh, I get it. So one of the rules is his hands are small. If you make his hands bigger, then they start kind of looking like Mickey Mouse hands, and nothing wrong with Mickey Mouse, except we're drawing SpongeBob, right? So we just want to keep him. His hands should stay small, just like his feet, and then he's got so like a little. The way I do is like a little circle for like the main part of the hand, and then just the 3 fingers and the thumb, right? Okay, so that's one arm. Let's have him holding a spatula in the other arm here. Okay, so again, the bell shape, we do the little line in the middle at the bottom, and then he could have he can curve it around. His arms can do whatever, right? They can do like noodle arms, or they can just be like actual regular bends at the elbows. We'll just give it like a little noodle arm this time. All right, and then for the hand, we'll just have like, it's going to be a fist, but I'm just going to do like a little oval, right? The oval is like that's basically the size of the fist that I want. So within that oval, I'll just draw the little fingers here and his thumb on the outside. And then for the spatula, I'll draw part of the handle down here, fill it in so we can see that it's different from his arm, right? And then just 2 straight lines going up. It's like a rectangle up here. And just 3 long ovals in the middle, right? And then if we put the spatula on, we got to put his hat on. So let me erase some of these construction lines here. And we're going to we're going to put in the wavy part, stuff on his body. So he's got 6 like wavy lumps going across the top of his head. He's also got 6 on the side, but you can play around with those. If you start from the middle line here, start down and then go up 1, 2, 3 that should end there, and then 1, 2, 3, right? And then we can just keep them going down the sides. Again, I said 6, but whatever, however many it takes to get down there is fine. So there you got like the the wavy part of his body. For his holes on the front of his face, he's got on the upper left screen left, one big hole, one small hole underneath. You go straight down from there. It's the big holes on the bottom, the little holes on the top. You go across, big hole on the top, little hole on the bottom, and then you go up here and it's just one big hole, right? And then we can add, from here we can add his, like a big U shape, upside down U shape, right? And then we can kind of just turn it to the side a little so you can see it. Add this here. I forget exactly what his hat looks like. I think this is close. And if you want to go in and fill in some of the stuff to break up the space, you can do that. But you can fill in some of the holes a little bit. So these are all these are all the rules that if you were hiring, a lot of the work, a lot of the actual animation work is done overseas, right? So it's done by a group of animators in a different country, and they weren't sitting here in the room while you create your character. So what you have to do is you have to take all these rules, and then you have to give them over to the group of animators, and they have to be able to look at them, and they have to be able to draw them exactly like you do. So when you're, if SpongeBob is, 3/4 kind of bending up, looking up, they have to know, like, oh, I would draw the line going down the middle, going across. But if he's looking up and you want to do like a bigger mouth, we would do like the eyes could squash up at the top of his head. Then we can do, his cheeks, and then his nose can be up here, and then we give him the little triangle on the side. And so basically the rules have to like help the animators be able to draw him from every angle, know where everything goes. The nose always goes at the bottom, right between the eyes. And then he can do whatever. And same with Patrick, same with Sandy, same with Mr. Krabs. All right, that's it. And that's kind of why you would you want to try to draw as you're coming up with your characters. If you have a character that you like, you or you go into a studio as you're drawing for the studio, you want to come up with the rules, the turnarounds. So what does SpongeBob look like from the back, from the side, all that stuff, so people will know. They won't get to a spot and just be like, I don't know what to do now, right? You want to kind of work all that stuff through. All right, let me go through some of these. You like Squidward? Okay. Let's see. Can you give ideas on how to draw a person? Because I need to, and I don't know how to draw a person. All right, let me turn this off here. I'll give you guys a book that I used when I was learning, was how to draw comics the Marvel way. It's like an old time book, but in there they give you like your basic stick figure, right? So if you have like a stick figure, right? This is more like an advanced stick figure, right? So it's not just a stick figure. Like there's the hips, right? The joints. Right here you can have the rib cage, the shoulders. Let me put the knees in here. Which teenage? I did the one on Nickelodeon, the CG ones on Nickelodeon. I can't remember how long ago that was, but yeah. So, guys, again, here's the basic stick figure, but with like the joints added, rib cage, hips. For the hands, you can use rectangles or squares, right? If you want to add fingers in, you can. You don't have to, but basic stick figure. If you take this stick figure, just decline some of these things. Then any person, if you're looking at a person and you're seeing they're sitting a certain way, they're turned a little bit to the side, whatever. You just this is how I started off with, right? Like you get the line of action, right, and then you can put in like your stick figure, right? So um, if they're jumping or being punched in the face or whatever's happening, right? This is for like anatomy, right? Like human anatomy. If they're just sitting down, and here's this is a little exaggerated here, but just kind of like you want to use the stick figure if just to get the basic idea of the motion down. The most important part would be the action line, right? But then you want to, if somebody's running, and you just kind of start with that, right? If you just start with like the skeleton of the body, the stick figure, and then as you add like a bouncing ball. Maybe not today, guys. I was asked, could I animate something really quickly like a bouncing ball? That might be a little tricky, kind of last minute thing, but as you get the stick figure down, and then you can start, fleshing out the character. If you put in the arms, the muscles here, the shoulders, you don't have to stick in like the radius and the ulna or anything like that, but just like the basic shapes here. And then as as you get more and more experienced with the pose or with the human body, even like with an animal, right? Like you can do just stick figures at first and then add. All right, let's see. Yeah, okay, let me scroll through here. Everyone play. Yes. How long? Who is your favorite character to draw? My favorite character to draw is Plankton. I love Plankton. He's really simple, but I just love the whole little it's like a bee. Just really quickly, like you can just make him. I just love his little crazy character here thing. So I really love drawing him. He's really fun to draw, especially since he doesn't. I mean, in in the show, right? Like you can grow hands, fingers whenever you want to, and then when you don't, whatever. But I love drawing him. Um, let's see, how long has your time work, working on animation? So my first job was in 2006. So however long that is. But I just started drawing, from high school, and then got into college. Tried to get an internship. Um, I think one of the best pieces of advice was like just take any job within the animation industry, right? Like if it's not your dream job right away, you go in as a production assistant, whatever it is, and then you just start meeting people, showing people their work, showing people your work, and then um, you know you start to get a network, and hopefully people will think of you when jobs open up. All right. What kind of directions do you receive beforehand? As a character designer, what kind of directions do you receive beforehand? So when I'm mostly an animator, but I have designed characters for different studios as I worked in different studios. Um, One of the directions they give you, like they'll give you mostly the feelings, which again is why you should be able to, when you're drawing someone, you want to draw them with emotion, right? Like um, they'll give you like this person's a happy person, very crazy. He's always like full of energy, whatever, and then so you think of that as you draw the characters, right? Um, let's see. Can you give tips on how to draw? What was the best company you worked with? Um, uh, they're all good in different ways, right? I've really enjoyed working at Nickelodeon uh, because I just love the group of people on the SpongeBob crew. They're just really hilarious. Um, okay, can you give tips on how to draw simpler hands? All right, so here, let's see, what time is it? 1:47. All right. So for a hand, the way I usually approach it, right? Um, if it's like a human hand, uh, I'll start with a rectangle. And I think Bern Hogarth does it the same way, right? A rectangle, and then you have like the fingers, right, and then the thumb. And I mean, if you want to break it up into more shapes, right there, right, like the cartoon hands, depending on which cartoon it is, a circle, finger, finger, finger. Um, but I do like the rectangle, because if you can draw it, you know, if you can draw a rectangle, like a three-dimensional rectangle, then you can pretty much get the stuff that you need. Um, I'll do, if I have, time, if I have nothing else to do, I will just look at my own hands and just pose my hands. One of the exercises that I did in college was the sign language alphabet, to draw the hands, but not just like straight, like at the camera, like they show in the books, right? But like try it like from like at a three-quarter angle or something like that, and then just draw every single letter, in draw every hand in doing the letters, and you get like a lot of practice drawing the hands in different shapes. So it's such a good exercise. I would totally recommend doing that. Um, let's see. No, I don't know ASL. I just know the. I mean, I guess I could spell it out, right? But I don't know it. How much you get from? How much money do you get from work? I don't think I'm allowed to say that, right? But here, someone's asking to draw Patrick. So real quick, we got like 11 minutes. Um, Patrick. So again, basic shape, right? Kind of like upside down triangle, but he's with like a circle at the bottom. I like drawing Patrick a little crazier than, SpongeBob's a little harder to draw, but Patrick, he's not as hard. He's just fun. Again, you do the line down the middle, the two ovals on the sides touching. You want to be careful that you don't do like eyes like where they're like Garfield eyes, where they kind of like are just like this. You know what I mean? Like they don't go into each other. They touch each other. And then again, let's see, keep the upper lip close to the bottom of the eyes and do his cheek right here. And then he usually has like a big dumb grin or mouth, right? So I can do this. If you guys want to cheer while I'm drawing, that's totally fine. And then he's got the one big tooth here. His eyebrows, he's got like these little Z shapes on the eyebrows here. And let's see, we can have him just be saying hello to you guys, right? He's got these like little flipper hands. And then again, like same kind of here, but he's got the pant legs that come around like SpongeBob. And he's got the belly button, right? And there you go. That's it's Patrick there for you. If you want to fill it in. The mouth, and he's got the little flowers on his shorts. Again, all these things that you got to keep in mind when designing, like the flowers on his shorts. They're not too hard to draw, but if you get any more crazier than that, then that person the animators have to draw them every single time, right? Guys, it's we got 8 minutes. Does anybody have? Let's see. Do you have to draw anything when you worked on Wonder Pets? Did you have? Yeah. So when I as an animator, usually you don't. As an animator, usually you don't start just animating, right? You want to do a bunch of thumbnails. So you have your character, you have your shot, and then you kind of just do like these thumbnails of the characters to see like, what you want to do with the motion, so that, and then you sit down and then you start working. So yeah, you would just draw a bunch of thumbnails, but the actual images themselves were photographs cut out and put into After Effects for animation. But all right, what was your favorite part about working on Wonder Pets? Did you like working on that show? So my favorite part about working on the Wonder Pets, that was actually my first job, like actual job, not internship, in the industry. So I really loved the fact that I got to like, oh, finally I got in, right? I did like working on the show. I didn't like so much the hearing the theme song over and over again. Like it kind of like drove me crazy after a while. But yeah, it was yeah, it was fun to work on. Have you ever met the SpongeBob voice actor? Yes, I have met him, Tom Kenny. He's a really nice guy if you ever do meet him. And he's always happy to take a picture and do the voice for you and stuff like that. What made you want to do character design? Any advice, little to no schoolwork or experience to get a job in the industry? Um, all right, that's so. I didn't actually want to do character design, but I do uh, love drawing characters, and so because I went to school for traditional animation, for hand drawn animation. Um, my original goal was to work as a traditional animator at Disney. Um, the beginning of my senior year of college, Disney fired and shut down all of their traditional animation studio and employees, and then DreamWorks followed suit. And so all of a sudden, I was like at the end of my senior year, at the beginning of my senior year, going like, "Oh man, uh, what am I gonna do?" And I decided to just finish drawing, and I found over the years of working, uh, the people the people that come up only knowing how to do computer animation versus the people that can draw and do computer animation. The people that can draw um, usually have like it's a little more natural. It's a little easier. I'm not saying you can't do computer animation if you can't draw. I'm just saying the sometimes the poses, most studios have traditional animators that will go over the computer animation and draw over the top, which is what I do when I get the animation from our studio overseas. I will go over, I will draw on top. um, but the drawing has led me, the fact that I've drawn so much has led me to get character design jobs. I've also done storyboarding and other things like that. um, for as far as getting into the industry with little or no work experience, uh, Nickelodeon and I think most of the studios, they have summer internship programs. So around the middle of February to the end of February, they open up their internship programs. Um, that is one way to get in there and get experience, get to know people, and like I said before, I would take any job that gets you into the industry. So if you go in as a production assistant and then you get to show people your work and talk to the people that you want to work with someday. Um, can you do a hand? What SpongeBob character is your least favorite? Uh, for drawing, I would say it's Squidward, but I like Squidward. He's just harder to draw sometimes. Um, to get all his like head shape and eyes and nose and everything right. Um, guys, I think we're kind of at the end here. Um, well, you guys are welcome. Thank you guys for all your questions. Thanks for all your applause, Dominic. Thanks for all of your applause. And guys, I hope you have a wonderful time and just keep drawing. Take a sketchbook with you everywhere you go, and have a lot of fun. Bye, guys.